why did the second largest oil and gas company in Australia, Santos, find itself bailed up in Karratha Magistrates Court on the 6th of January?
Well, it has to do with a improperly maintained pipeline, 25,000 litres of oil, 3 dead dolphins.
How to blow up a pipeline underwater and get away with it.
That's right, yeah.
So Santos were summoned to Karratha Magistrates Court under the Petroleum Act by the Department of whatever and fined sweet fuck all.
10K, 10 grand, maximum penalty of 50K.
Yeah, even that is probably cheaper than
pocket
petrol.
Change, right?
Well, I reckon it's probably cheaper, more expensive than you'd pay for petrol down here. Santos spilled 25,000 litres of oil, so if they were charged 50K, it's $2 a litre. But I reckon by the time you're kind of getting much north of Geraldton on the way up to Karratha for your court appearance, you're already paying more than that.
Fully,
Put petrol in the Pajero.
280,
Anyway, so it doesn't cost much to kill sea life.
Not at all.
Around here.
Yeah, I mean, those dolphins were the ones that were observed. I'm sure there was plenty of other marine life which...
sea snakes writhing in agony. I dare say they should have got my old mate Andre to help them out to rescue a few more after his exploits on a plane a couple of months back. But yeah, gee whiz, if you're a big oil and gas multinational, you don't pay for your crimes like the rest of us do.
I mean, it's cheap. It's like less than pocket change, right?
You sent us that story about a couple of Marine fishermen down south a couple of years back getting slogged pretty much.
100K, 100K for taking Marine from the dam.
I don't know. I'm yet to hear whether this guy's got caught or not, but there was someone else who was trying to take out some sea life a little bit closer to home during the week as well.
Yeah, took it upon himself to... dress up in his camo wetsuit or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, must have just thought it was his lucky day. Last thing you'd expect going for a dive inside the Cottesloe shark net is a 1.5 metre bronze whaler shark with your spearfish.
Unreal. Yeah. What I want to know is, did he have it in the back of the car? Was he there by chance, or did he hear the news and kind of hightail it down there?
Apparently, I did read that one of the lifeguards on duty who captured the whole incident on drone said that when the siren sounded, when they saw the bronzy inside the shark net down at one of Perth's most popular beaches, that guy was the only person not to get out of the water. Right. And they observed him just kind of like cruising around inside the shark net for hours after everyone else had beat a hasty retreat.
Right.
And then at a certain point, the poor bronze whaler got within spearing distance.
And that was it.
And he took his pot shot.
Yeah. So would you get in the shark net? Would you rather swim in or out? Or
I don't know. I don't trust him. I'd kind of. It's a good question. I don't know.
Because I have only recently this season taken swimming in the shark net for the first time. I've always swum outside
at Cottesloe.
At Cottesloe,
when you had the option.
Last few weeks, I've been swimming inside the net.
What was the rationale previously? Why wouldn't you dip your toe?
I mean, it's just crowded in there. It's kind of like
cupped, you reckon?
Not as good body surfing as well within the netted area. If you go a little bit further, is that because of the
groin though, or because of the net?
I think it's because of the groin. I think it's just because of the placement of it. But I've always preferred to swim north of the net. But this season, I've gone inside the net. Getting a little bit older, perhaps,
Play it safe.
But now I'm not so sure. I don't know.
It's not the only shark net in Perth's coastal waters. I was down at Coogee Beach on Friday morning. They got a shark net down there as well, and people were not playing it safe. There were shit tons of people swimming back and forth inside the shark net. No sharks, but hundreds and hundreds of dead mackerel washing up on the beach. I made a little TikTok about it, which no one will have seen because
of the shadow ban. Yeah,
they won't let me back on. Obviously, no
too much to handle. Yeah.
I mean, I have to
we
say,
need to talk to the CCP and get that one sorted. I think,
or the US Senate. Maybe I'm not sure whichever comes first. I have to say, I mean, I made a bit of a song and a dance about people in the water not ignoring, not reading the signs saying beach closed. What do you reckon? Would you get in the water if you saw some dead mackerel on the beach?
Well, I don't think I would, just because I'd be a bit freaked out. Was there any kind of like sleek around, or did the water look
not that
normal?
I saw. I mean,
Yeah.
I was kind of primed for that because there'd been some commentary on like a local Facebook group or something. Someone had sent me saying like chemical spill,
Right.
dead fish, beaches
Yeah.
closed, and so I kind of went down there with that mindset, I
Yeah.
guess. But no, I couldn't see any evidence of it, and not like it was. I took some photos. Which are pretty picture perfect, like setting sun, pontoon, kids jumping off, barreling around, families fishing.
Yeah.
It was all kind of, perfectly standard
Yeah.
January afternoon.
Do we know what happened yet? Does anyone know where it came from?
Yeah, late yesterday afternoon after, we made a bit of fuss in the media, the department came out and said, we've done a full and thorough investigation and quickly discovered that we think it was probably just like a net had split open and the fish had got
Right.
out that way.
Right.
I don't know why they'd be dead in that scenario, though. Like, I don't feel like a trawler automatically kills the fish in the net. Surely that happens once they get out of the net. So
One would think, I don't know.
could be an investigative piece for next week, maybe getting to the bottom of that little farrago. Speaking of farrago, Albo's back or been back. I think he's been and gone already. And didn't he look good getting off the plane in Kununurra with a new Akubra on his head?
I prefer the old
blazer and polo shirt.
That blazer's got to go. I'm afraid it's not. It doesn't work. It's too formal for the polo and.
I mean,
chinos.
I think to be fair, he was just packing carry on because I saw him later in the day at a community centre and the Akubra had gone, the blazer had gone, but the polo and like bright white chinos and like the shiniest RM Williams I've ever seen in Kununurra still on his feet.
Right, so he's got the travelling capsule wardrobe. Yeah, he's clearly thought it through.
Yeah.
He used to have the old Traveller Cobra, the crushable ones. I thought that was a better look for him than the light coloured one.
Yeah, right.
He maybe retired that one post Voice. It was getting a good run during the Voice campaign.
Yeah.
But,
everything changed and nothing changed after that.
Yeah, interesting that he's on the RMs as well. Maybe aligning himself with Mr. Forrest. Who knows?
Oh, maybe. I just assume that was just standard.
Uniform.
Yeah.
I mean, I think boots are politicised these days. I think
if you're wearing Rossies,
Dutton's in the Rossies. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Mrs. Reinhardt.
Yeah.
While I'm still buying my Bannister Downs milk. Week
Yeah, I love the full pager that she took out in the Washington Post this week in support of Mr. Donald Trump with that classic photo of him hugging the flag, Bannister Downs logo at the bottom. Just so good.
Perfect.
The
Americans love them. No soy boys in Washington Post January 20.
I wonder if she's getting on the unpasteurised train, the raw milk train.
I think it is. I mean, where I get it from is next door to where we record this podcast at Manor Whole Foods, and they've got a whole fucking shelf of Bannister Downs, and it's very kind of raw milk vibes,
right?
Unhomogenised, kind of. Yeah. A few different options.
One of the great political signifiers of our age is
indeed
drinking raw milk. Yeah,
indeed. Might make you sick, but not as sick as standing too close to the PM seems to make Roger Cook. He's very keen to keep his distance.
Yes.
The Australian.
Yeah. Speaking how state Labor is independent of federal Labor, which is an interesting way to put it, I suppose. But clearly he wants to run his own race and do his own thing without letting, without being tarred with the same brush as Albo.
Indeed. And speaking of running your own race, a very tortured segue to the lead interview this week. The first guest we've had on the podcast for quite some time, the first political candidate.
First we've had join us at HQ as well.
Very true, It's all been on location by now. Kate Hulett, who is running as an independent in the state seat of Fremantle, taking on Minister for Water and Other Things, Simone McGurk, who's been a stalwart of Labor politics and has held the seat ever since she beat, as she described it, chaotic Greens turned independent Adele Carles in 2013. What do you make of Kate?
Look, Kate, I thought Kate was great. I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see how the kind of community independent, Teal independent frame applies to Fremantle. I think there's obviously things that are quite different about this electorate than other electorates that have been won by Teals. But, I thought she seemed very genuine, pretty straightforward, which was refreshing.
Yeah, let's play the tape. Fresh from our launch last night in Freo. Kate Hulett sitting down on the couch with Gerard. We'll come back after you hear what she's got to say.
I'm not a politician, so I don't know the ins and outs of what it's like in government, sitting around. In my mind, I was thinking about everyone that I went to school with in the northern suburbs would never even, I mean, I haven't been to Government House. Is it even called Government House? Parliament House?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, there's both. But
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
So I've not been to either of those places.
Yeah.
And everyone all my peers would not have been in that building, and all we imagine is men in suits fighting or making deals.
Which is pretty much what
with
it
rich
is.
people,
Yeah.
And it feels so utterly disconnected from us and our lives, and it really strikes me that is not what it's. They're servants, are public servants for us, and they are not serving us, and it just feels like no one's questioning it. We've got a Labor majority, and from what I understand, those people are getting paid to sit around and keep their mouth shut while the deals are being done in the back room. And it feels like a parallel universe when you think all of these things, Woodside's just can do whatever they want, just go for it. Go for it. Fracking, go for it. Our ocean, just the fine that was given to Santos last week, it just feels so unbelievable, and that no one is standing up screaming about it, that someone has to start standing up and screaming about it. And we need more people in there just going, what the hell? And just at least being able to speak to the media, not me ranting in my shop like I do, but actually have a title like all these other titled people to say something and bring it to light. It feels like it's all shady in the dark, and we need some people just to pop some torches on it and go, hey, what's happening over in that corner, and start asking questions.
Yeah.
And then we can bring it to light and change it.
Yeah. How do you think people in Fremantle feel about Labor?
Completely cheesed off. Is that a technical term? Pissed off? I don't know. I think my sense is, when Labor got voted in federally, I didn't vote for them, but I cried with happiness that it wasn't the Liberal Party.
Yeah.
And then, it's almost the hope that they gave to the country. It's been more devastating what's happened subsequently, because we hoped for so much, and I think everyone feels incredibly let down. It's like the Liberal Party don't even have to worry about WA because we've got the most liberal Labor Party running the state that we've ever had, so it's so right wing. And that's not who, particularly in Fremantle, we are. We're progressive and we care about the planet. We care about future and children and walkable cities and trees and clean oceans. But we're not getting that. And I think we can blame Labor for not acting like the world is on fire, because it is on fire.
And what about at the state level? Do you think that, Labor's held this seat for some time now. Do you think that people feel like they've been represented?
No. But also I think we're really complacent. And something I'm keen to do is get a list of stuff that hasn't been done. I think once you start thinking about it, and it's, we all have busy lives and we're, messing around doing our own shit. And you think, someone said to me the other day, the last decent investment in Fremantle was the Maritime Museum, which was in 2001, and now it's in the 90s or something. What the hell? And also the museum and the jetty got hit by that boat years ago, still not repaired.
I saw it yesterday, actually. I was on the ferry yesterday and I
still
saw
not
the dent in the jetty,
What the hell? And then I walk there almost every day.
Yeah.
In front of the Maritime Museums, the little plaques with all the boat names from when the British came over, £1 palms, whatever. That's probably, am I cancelled? No.
Well, I think there's some Italians on there too, because there's some Mazzes on there. So,
so that's all cordoned off, safe, danger, and it has been for a year. And so that's their last investment, and they haven't maintained it. Spare Parts Theatre, that building, government owned. They just let it crumble. Spare Parts are moved out to Claremont now, not coming back to Fremantle. On the street I live in, there's a big big old hotel on the corner, the Terminus, crumbling, empty, owned by the government. You know, and we lost the cat bus. We're getting a police station we don't want. The community had to fight like hell to get a better bridge for the shit bridge that we were offered. It was just like slowly crumbling. And if shit isn't maintained, it fails. And it's so much more expensive to bring it back to life afterwards. And once you start noticing it, it's really clear. And I think people are starting to notice and go, yeah, why haven't we why didn't we get consulted on that? And why isn't our oval being upgraded like every other whacker oval in Western Australia? You know, it's just, why are we just being ignored? Because we're so safe.
Why are we, do you think? What is the reason for that?
There's no, Liberals aren't going to run it. Like, why would they?
So it's kind of been taken for granted?
Totally taken for granted. And Simone and the Labor Party.
Simone McGurk, who's the local member. Yeah.
And she's got like portfolio. She's a really senior minister. She's got loads of shit to do. And I feel almost it's unfair how much work she's got to do, and then to care for Fremantle as well. So the argument that it's really good to have a really senior minister as your local member, I don't know if that's really true. Anyway, yeah, I think that we're being ignored because we're so safe. Why would they bother spending money here? Yeah. Might as well spend money on an area that they really want to win. Yeah. They're going to win this. They think they're going to win this. Don't bother.
So do you think you can win?
I mean, to be honest, I've got absolutely zero clue. Like I speak to my friends like, you're going to win. And I'm like, oh, yay. But it's like, I'm like a little naive puppy going, cool, this is fun. You're my friends. But I don't, I have had my shop in Fremantle for 11 years. So that's 11 years worth of weekends talking to people. And weekdays, but weekends are when most people come in. And I've had thousands and thousands and thousands of conversations with people, both from Fremantle and further afield. And I feel like that's pretty good homework for this kind of a role. And it's good gauge of what people are feeling and what they're thinking and what they're noticing. And I mean, in a way, I guess that's what an MP does, talks to people and then takes on stuff. But rather than me just internalise it and scream into a pillow at night, I can go and scream at men in suits, which is probably my dream.
Yeah, probably more fun and more productive.
100%. Yeah. And I get paid for it.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I think it would be really cool to win. Yeah. And I think we could do some really great things. And have a really good impact and at least set the tone for a more positive and hopeful and healthy future for the city of Freo. And I think that would be great.
So in terms of some of the issues that you're talking about, I mean, particularly climate, but others as well, I guess the Greens are a political force who are talking about those issues as well. Totally. Why did you decide to become involved with the community independent movement rather than working with the Greens in Fremantle?
I guess the point of this movement is the spokesperson for the community, very specifically and very clearly. It's I said last night, there is no leader of the party. There are leaders, and the leaders are the people of the community. And that's entirely separate from the party system. And I really... good ideas are good ideas, I think dental should be in Medicare, and I think we do need to stop all new coal and gas projects. I think we need to stop fracking. I think we need to stop Woodside. We need to tax billionaires. I think we should have free education in Australia. So do the Greens. But they're good ideas. Good ideas are good ideas. But this project, this community independent project, isn't about those big national ideas. It's about very specifically, this is what the community wants for the community. And I mean, it will be interesting in 20 or 40 years to look back to see if these little movements were able to influence the parties to be more locally oriented rather than nationally oriented. But I sense that maybe it will be these little, say I get in for 4 years, we kind of pull it back to give community voices, and then the bigger parties go, okay, we need to localise more now. We can't just go nuclear, and then everyone has to go, okay, well, I guess we're going to do nuclear. It's like you have to give the people that you're representing the opportunity to contribute to what's happening in their area. And I think, that many of the things the Greens do, I would 100% back. But for this project, it is about giving the voice to the community, and that is not, if I was running for the Greens, that's not what their directive is, and they can exist together, I think they're complementary and overlapping, and I think progressive people need to work really hard to stop people like Peter Dutton and the Liberal Party and Gina Reinhart and Pauline Hanson and the wave of right-wing kind of influence that's coming through Europe and America. I think we need to not bother about fighting, scrapping. We need to come together and go, okay, we need to be bold on things like social justice, the environment, integrity, and those sorts of things. And I'm really clear about that.
Yeah. There was an article in the West this week about your launch and your campaign, and I thought it was kind of interesting, the comments from Simone McGurk in there, and she spoke about how she had previously won this seat of Fremantle off an independent turned green.
Oh, yeah.
And I wondered if she was kind of trying to... Oh, sorry, other way around. Yeah, green turned independent, yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed like maybe she was trying to group those two things together a little bit and kind of put you in the same box.
Very efficient of her. Yeah. Whatever. I mean, we're all humans. People know me pretty well in Freo. Well, it's like using the word teal. It's just like some lazy kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Fine. I'm just a regular Fremantle person who thinks that we deserve better, and I'm going to work with other regular Fremantle people to demand it. And yes, I am independent. Yes, I will be funded by hundreds of tiny donations of $25 or whatever, and people will be giving their time for free because they really care about this. And yeah, I mean, Labor have failed us. So, great. You've given us a crap police station that we don't want. You've lost us the spare parts theatre and the cat, Good. If you're proud of that, you actually shouldn't be.
Yeah. Yeah. So the community independents or, the teal independents kind of, I guess, gain their reputation mostly by running in Liberal-held seats. That's at the federal level, at least, what we've kind of seen at the last election, and it looks like largely what we'll see at the next one. It's interesting to me here in WA, in the state election, that here, long-time Labor seat, and then also in the western suburbs, those are seats that are currently held by Labor, even though they haven't always been where community independents are running. What do you make about that, and what does that say about the situation here in WA?
Well, I guess, as I said earlier, we've got effectively a Liberal government wearing red T-shirts. They're really right-wing, really policey and, big money, and it's gross.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. We feel it is embarrassing. We're becoming so conservative, and it's not who we are, We are great. There's so many brilliant people in WA who are doing such incredible world-class work, and the job that I do in the city, I do the cultural programming, which is like arranging talks and stuff, and it's I get goosebumps even thinking about it, just the unbelievably brilliant, smart people we've got here. The government does not represent us as we are, as a people. So I think, in a way, as these independents are challenging Labor, effectively they're just challenging backward ideas. It's not the colour of their tops, it's their concepts and their ideologies, and that they're not standing up for the right things. Like, we can see, look on your phone, the world is on fire or it's underwater, and the last 10 years have been the hottest 10 on record. We've just surpassed 1.6 degrees. It's chaos. This is the outcomes of inaction, and we are still not acting. And people are going, what the hell do we do? We're not going to run for the Liberal Party because they're cooked. Labor Party aren't working for us, so we're going to have to stand up for ourselves. And what an incredible movement, and what a show of solidarity of the community, to go, I'm going to knock on the doors on behalf of that person I've never met and talk to that person I've never met, because I really, really, really believe we've got to do something better than this. And the government will go, we are doing the best for you. We have given you 50 cents off your electricity bill, and I'll thank you so much, but I can't afford rent that week, so I'm sleeping in my car now. It's like, stop giving us crumbs and telling us you're giving a cake. It's so disappointing, and we live in the world. We have eyes and brains. We know that there can be better. We deserve better, and we can do better, and we want better. So we're going to fight for better. And if you're not going to do it for us, Labor government, we'll bloody well do it ourselves.
At the statewide level, Labor have, at the moment, so much control over the parliament. The last election, the Liberal Party are really almost kind of ceasing to exist in a meaningful way.
It's amazing the Liberal Party still exists. Basil Zemplis is trying his hardest.
Yeah, well, what do you reckon? What do you reckon about Baz? What's your take there?
I think he's a football reporter.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
And I think he loves being on TV.
Yeah.
Likes wearing a suit, striding around town.
Yeah. You and he could be kind of
comrades,
sitting in the chamber together before too long.
Yeah. I cannot believe anyone would want to be a part of anything to do with Peter Dutton. And that really, I accidentally, one time I was at a Liberal Party, like a women thing, that turned out it was like Liberal women.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was like, what do you mean how? Why do you, but you're a woman and you're young. Why? And I just...
But it sounds like they kind of had to trick you to get you through the door. Was it?
It was a long story. A friend of a friend of a friend.
Yeah, okay.
And I was just open, and they couldn't really answer me. But, their answer was, well, my dad was in the Liberal Party, and so I then was a member when, and now I'm... And it strikes me as I talk to people that they treat political parties like football teams. So it's like, well, I'm and I'll always be a Docker supporter and I'll never change. But we have to break that and say it's policies, not party. And that, the Liberal Party think, yeah, nuclear. It's 2025. Let's start doing something that doesn't exist in, small modular reactors that haven't ever existed in the world. Yeah, we've got a countrywide ban and it's illegal, but let's do it. Are you deranged? And then I'm going to stand up for him. That's where I'm just struck with, I'm dumbfounded.
Yeah.
I think they're redundant. And without the Nationals, they're really redundant. And the Nationals without the Liberal Party, it's just, it's a shame,
I guess in WA, with the Liberal Party the way they are, with Labor so dominant, is there an alternative to Labor? Is there an alternative government that we can see And I guess what might that look like?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Independence, maybe a couple more Greens.
Yeah.
I think we need to have robust, real debates, and we need to unite on good decisions and argue bad decisions. We do not want to be governed by big business and corporations. That's not right. And so I think this independent movement is going to be slow and incremental, but I think it will start crumbling this solid, messy, block that we've got now. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to look. I know what we've got now is not good. And the way we live now is not good. We need legislation and incentives and de-incentives for things which are hurting our unborn children, and we're not putting them in place quick enough. We're not being brave and courageous enough, and we're just bending down to whatever the big corporations want, like the fertiliser or the plastic bag people or the, obviously, gas corporations. And it's not no one, it does not pass the pub test, No one thinks, Woodside should be calling the shots, whatever they want. Of course they should have. Everyone knows it's not. We don't elect those people to dictate what we do and how we live. However, they are. And it's, things like this really shits me. In no other industry would this be allowed, but our politicians leave politics and literally the next day they've got their office in minerals, corporations, boards, whatever.
Yep.
Mark McGowan's on like 5 or something, isn't he?
The obvious example there, yeah.
And then Northern Territory Minister, who's now fracking. I mean, it's so corrupt and feels. I mean, no one go, fair enough. Fair enough. Good on them.
Yeah.
They deserve it. I just think it's absolutely fucked, and it really drives me wild that things like that. And that when people talk about integrity, it's shit like that, which normal people know is not okay.
Yeah. You mentioned fundraising a little bit earlier. How's the fundraising looking for your campaign?
Well, I guess we only started technically 12 hours ago. I actually don't know how much money you need.
Yeah.
The guy who's kind of planning it all out reckons we need about 50 grand to do this sprint rather than a marathon. We've just got 50 days. It's $1,000 a day.
Yeah.
But it's like printing flyers and posters and yard signs, and we need 2 mobile phones and a modem and an office and a projector and a whiteboard. There's just all that stuff that infrastructure that you need. And annoyingly, you just have to put stuff in people's letterboxes, and you just have to get out and about. So all that costs money, and I guess my next thing is just to start asking people for money, which I hate doing. But I think if some people are quite rich, I'm not from money, so I just assume everyone's the same as me. But I know there's plenty of people in my orbit that have a wage. I don't have an income, so
plenty of people around Freo these days who have a bit of money.
Yeah. So people earn a wage.
Yeah.
And I haven't earned a wage for so long that spare money doesn't mean something to me. But people do have spare money. I understand that. And some people can give their time and some people can give their money. I guess we've just got to get 50 grand.
Yeah. Which that strikes me as pretty cheap for a political campaign.
Yeah.
So
I feel like Kate Janie's was like $1 million or something like that. But then I'm like, how do you spend that much money on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of campaigns
TV.
would spend that just on social media ads alone, you know, or
billboards
whatnot.
or
But I guess that's, you know, we talk about money in politics, and that is part of the community independent thing is looking
Being
at the
really clear
role of
about
money in politics and disclosing donations and things like that. I guess I just wonder, like, is it possible to do politics differently without those millions of dollars?
I would love to. I mean, it feels like it should be like that. It really struck me when I watched, you know, the American election like it was a TV show, and I just thought, you know, they're like, the super PACs just donated $2 billion.
Yeah.
And all that is going to TV, meta, advertising.
Yeah.
People just rubbing their hands. I mean, it's like the military complex or something. It's so gross that the people that can kind of control what the outcome is actually are reaping all the money of the donations of individuals.
Well, and I mean, the other interesting thing with the US was that the Harris campaign massively outspent the Trump campaign.
Totally.
And obviously,
and in
it
no
didn't
other
work.
instance that you know, the person that spent the most has always won, I think, you know. And anyway, I think all the money, you know, like donations, big donations from companies. I mean, it's so dodgy, isn't it? Big donation from a company, and then the government does something to help that company, and there's
then often
so
not even
many
big
examples.
donations.
No,
they're sometimes like thousands of dollars.
Pathetic donations, and then they get a $3 billion road or something, and it's like, it's so lame and pathetic. That's what I just kind of want to look at these people and go, how do you chat with your kids over the dinner table about this? It's so, you seem pathetic. Grow up. You know what I mean? Don't waste people's money on shit like that, you know? Waste people's money in a good way. Invest it into them. Make the paths nice. Give them bike paths and trees and benches to sit on at the beach, you know? Make it a fucking nice place to live. Don't fuck around with it in newspaper ads and, you know, all the shit. Anyway, we need money to play the stupid game, but I guess the more regular people are in the system, the more that system can be broken and fixed.
50 days, as you say, not a whole heap of time. What are your priorities and focus over the next 50 days? Where's the energy going?
I hope someone was going to tell me this. I'm still waiting for someone to come and tell me this. I have kind of cleared my schedule. So I've got two great people working in the shop over the period. So normally when I'm there, I've got people in there for me. And I've stopped my other job for the next 50 days. So I think I've just got to get out and about, you know, kind of walk the perimeter of Fremantle. And, you know, I know that outer areas of Fremantle, the concerns of those people are going to be very, very different from the people that live in South Fremantle, and the demographics are so different, and so I think it's just getting out so they can, if they want to talk to me. I mean, many people are completely disengaged, obviously, with politics. How boring! But if they want to come and have a chat, I think that's the priority. Is like enabling people the opportunity to see that there is another option for them to vote for. And then, you know, they'll make a snap decision probably.
Yeah.
If they think, yeah, she's all right, or not interested, untested, whatever, you know. And some people will never vote independent. You know, there's all the things. Like some people ideologically will never vote Greens. Some people will have been Liberal, rusted on voters, whatever. But it's the opportunity to have a little chat with people and hear them and
yeah. And maybe the independent thing offers a way out of that kind of ideological.
Yeah, totally, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's really important, I think. I think that, you know, part of the breaking the system is, you know, if people have, you know, for 50 years felt a particular way about the parties, you know, I'm a Liberal or a Labor voter, and then the media or whatever, you know, shown them the Greens as crazy loons or whatever. It's hard to unlearn that. You can't just unlearn it and go, okay, everything I've believed for 50 years or 60 years is I now have to unlearn. But you're absolutely right. Meeting someone that's just a regular person that exists in the world, that's not, rich or special, might be the answer for them to try something else. And, at the beginning when you said, why are you doing this? It's like, well, you've got to give it a try, for them. That nothing terrible will happen if an independent gets in. But certainly some really terrible things could happen if, the Liberal Party get in, and the delay of anything meaningful if the Labor Party stay in. So I think it's, voting for independent is going to at least give you an opportunity for a, brighter future.
Thanks so much, Kate, for joining us at Last Place on Earth
Thank you for
HQ.
having me.
They
Thrilled
say
to be
these
here.
days that, increasingly it seems podcasting is perhaps the path to political glory. So we'll see how that applies
I've got
here in Western
Joe
Australia.
Rogan in an hour. So
Great.
that's
Oh,
how
this
I'm
has been a
off
good
to.
warm-up, hopefully, for Joe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put you a few hours in front of the camera. Yeah.
Exactly. Just loosen my throat. Thank you so much
No
for having me.
worries.
Great.
Thank
and
you.
I love the work that you do.
So that was Kate Hulett, who stopped by here earlier, and we had a chat about her campaign. I am going to be having a look at some of the other Voices campaigns, Teal Independent campaigns that are popping up in WA to see what that impact might be on the state election. So have a look out for the print piece in the coming days/weeks.
Yep, and in the meantime, we're going to cast the net a bit wider going forwards, hoping to get a whole range of politicians from across the spectrum on the couch with the boys in South Freo in weeks to come as we head towards the 2 elections. So, if you're keen to come on down and tell us what you stand for, let us know. We'd love to have you. And otherwise, some other stuff to look out for in days to come. I'll have a print feature in your inbox later next week. Don't want to give too much away at this point because I'm still talking to a whole bunch of secret sources about it. And the usual wrap in a couple of days.
Cool. Sounds good. All right.
Sweet. See you later.
See ya.